Good evening. It's homecoming week at Pioneer Stadium for Lyon College. We're getting ready to take on the Oklahoma Panhandle State University Aggies tonight. But first, we got to talk about what happened last week. We got Coach Casey Creehan here in the studio with us today for the Coach Casey Creehan Show, a service of the Kilted Army. If you want to become a booster of Lyon College athletics, just go online at lyonscots.com. They call that the Kilted Army there to promote Scottish heritage in and around Lyon College. And Coach, I know it was a long trip out west last week. I had the privilege of making that with you, but not quite the performance that I know you would hope that we had from the Scots.
No, we struggled everywhere. We struggled in all three phases. We didn't tackle very well on defense. We had a hard time covering them. We were out of place sometimes in our zones. When we blitzed, we didn't hit our patterns properly. I mean, it's one of them days where, you tried it all. You tried zone, man, blitz man, press man, off man, nothing was working. We just, we didn't play well. We got to coach better. We got to play better. Offensively, we couldn't block them. They were in our backfield the whole day. They out-physicaled us on both lines. Special teams wise, we misfit a kickoff. We couldn't tackle their returner. We missed a tackle. He went to the house. It was bad all the way around. The thing I was most disappointed in was our lack of energy out of the gate. This team has been a team that's wanted to work and wanted to play, and I got to do a better job of getting this team coming out of the gate and coming out, with better intensity.
Not to try to make an excuse or anything like that, Coach, but more than 52 JUCO kids on the other side for Ottawa. Plus, I mean, we're flying 3-4 hours across the way, and we have a time delay too, as far as a 2-hour time difference. I guess you roll that all up into one thing. Some of those factors had to come into play.
Yeah, and in the off season, I'll sit down and examine myself and figure out if my itinerary for those 48 hours was proper. It's kind of what I've been accustomed to in the past, but that was a different level of football. So I've got to self-analyze and see if I can come up with a better way to, get these kids ready to play on trips like that, because we're going to be flying out to Arizona every year. So
absolutely. Well, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit about homecoming week and how things have been in and around the campus here in 2 minutes, right here on 93 KZLE. Lyon College football on the air tonight. It's homecoming week at Pioneer Stadium and has been all week long on the campus of Lyon College. It's the Coach Casey Creehan Show, brought to you by the Kilted Army. The purpose: to promote and encourage Lyon students, faculty, administration, alumni, and community to support Lyon College athletic programs. Get all the information at lyonscots.com. Coach, you've had, on the collegiate level, Coach, it's more of promoting your school, and some of your players and your kids have been doing that.
yeah, we had a chance today to get some guys out into school and visit the local schools and talk to the kids a little bit and promote our great institution that we have.
And how important is that to your football program in particular?
Very important. I mean, it's like I always tell the guys, we're in the people business. And, my biggest thing in this program is treat people with respect. And that's everybody. And if we get a chance to get out into some schools and talk to some young men or young girls and, help influence their life a little bit from a positive manner, we obviously want to take every opportunity to do that.
Well, absolutely, you do. Now, as far as alumni are concerned, I know our football program's, very, very young, but what are some things that you're doing on campus this week, that you're seeing some of those faces that are coming back? I know you're new to campus too, but I'm sure there's been some alumni in and out this week as well.
Yeah, there is, and hopefully we'll have a nice, following at the game with those guys, and I look forward to meeting the ones that obviously I haven't had a chance to meet, and hopefully we just go out there and put on a better show for them than we did a week ago.
Well, yes, sir. But we can always talk about how tough a week that was. But I've heard a couple of NFL coaches talk and whatnot. Sometimes you just got to throw away that film, coach, and move on.
Yeah, well, and in some respects we did that, but there were so many learning opportunities in that film that if you don't watch yourself play, you don't ever get better. But my message to the team is always you learn from your mistakes, you see the good things that you do, and then when it's over, you sign your name to it and you send it off to the rest of the league and you move on. That's, it's a new week, it's a new chapter, and it's time to rebound.
One thing that I do think, and I called it a bright spot, Nacho Gomez, Ignacio. Now, of course, you don't want your punter to be the guy that's kind of highlighted for the week, because that means your defense kind of puts you in a bad predicament. But, I mean, he got 9 punts, averaging over 47 yards a punt, too. A good workout for that young man.
Yeah, and, I say it every week. There's no guy I'd rather have than him. And he did a great job. He came out, and he had to. I mean, their punter was absolutely banging the ball, too. I mean, he flipped the field on us a couple times. You probably know better than me how long that one was, but it had to have been about 70 yards. So, it was a nice punting duel that way in terms of both punters were really hitting it well.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a 2-minute timeout here, Coach, and let's talk about us and what we have to do taking on tonight's opponent in the Oklahoma Panhandle State University Aggies. We'll do that right after this 2-minute timeout. Welcome back. Lyon College football on the air. Homecoming week this week at Pioneer Stadium. It's the Scots taking on the Oklahoma Panhandle State University Aggies. They are coming into Pioneer Stadium tonight. You need to get here. I know you're on your way. It's going to be a good game. It's a service here at the Coach Casey Creehan show of the Lyon College Kilted Army. It's the Booster Club. Support our athletic programs by becoming a member of the Kilted Army at lionscots.com. Well, Coach, we're not going to talk about last week anymore. It's time to talk about this week. The time is here, and the Oklahoma Panhandle State Aggies are coming into town, and they, too, have a high-powered offense. What are some keys to the game for the Scots in order to be successful tonight on the field?
Well, the first thing I'll say, and I always say, is the issue is never going to be the opponent. It's always going to be us. Not to get back to last week, but when you look at a lot of the breakout plays that happened to us, we were either a missed assignment or had people in position, and we couldn't make the play. So we have to do things better ourselves first and foremost, and that's on all three phases. And in terms of Oklahoma Panhandle, though, they're going to come in and they're going to have a very physical rushing attack. They use multiple personnel groups. They have about 4 or 5 tight ends, 4 or 5 fullbacks, and 3 or 4 tailbacks, and they use them all, and they just roll them in there, and they keep them fresh, and they pound the ball, and that's who they are. And they're physical on both lines, very physical, and we have to ready to be up to the challenge.
Defensively, what are they going to do?
Defensively, they mix it up a little bit. They play some 4 down, they play some 3 down. They're aggressive. They do a nice job really on both sides of the ball. They're very sound. They're good at what they do. They're fundamental, and they just come in and they execute. They out-execute you.
Now, during the Ottawa game, we had Spencer Childress come in. He started, and has played really well for you last couple of games, and the offense kind of sputtered a bit. Josh Sierra came in a little bit later on. You went with him. You also have Isaiah Bradford, too, so are you still trying to find your way around which quarterback is really the leader of your team?
Yeah, a little bit, and, Spencer had a little bit of an injury issue in the game and was pulled for that, and, our medical team has examined him, and, we're expecting him to be back here relatively quickly, so, that was part of the reason of the change, and he was struggling a little bit, and so it didn't hurt to try and get Josh in and see if he could spark us a little bit. But, it's a fluid situation, and it's something we're going to keep evaluating. And, ideally we'd like somebody to take the lead and really come to the forefront and take more reps.
Have you had to adjust your game plan this week for this particular team?
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to have to adjust your game plan based on what the challenges the other team presents. And then also you have to examine what you can actually do with your own personnel. And I said this a couple weeks ago. We're learning our players, and we're still learning them a little bit. Obviously, we know them better than we did 2 weeks ago, but there's still things that at times we think we can do, and we realize we can't do that with these guys. They, that doesn't fit their skill sets as well as maybe this other thing would. And so you have to obviously play to what, you have to have a game plan based on what they do, but you also have to have a game plan based on what you can actually execute within yourselves.
It's going to be a physical game tonight, Coach. I know the Scots are up to the challenge. Good luck. Let's bring home a W.
Thank you.
We're the boys